Welcome to Trial by Wine. We take a closer look at crimes that highlight how fascinating humans can be. Schmitty, Swanee and Clarky visit crimes and run them through their jury of three, debating both sides of the case to agree an appropriate, if totally fictitious, sentence. Please be advised, Trial by Wine may include explicit or disturbing content and will include drunken rambling. Listener discretion is advised. All right. Good to see you. How are you going? Hey.
How are we?
Oh, yeah, good. Yeah.
Good, yeah.
So, doing back-to-back episodes, so we don't need to talk about how we've been. But are we drinking something different? I'm still on gin and soda.
Well, yes. Well, we are having a new bottle of wine once we finish the last one.
Rosé, yeah.
So this one is from Fowles Winery, which is on the Hume Highway. Mm-hmm. We spoke about it a couple of episodes ago. And the wine we're having is called Ladies Who Shoot Their Lunch.
Oh, yeah, I love them. Yeah.
2021
really
Wild Ferment.
Ladies Who Shoot Their Lunch.
You know, like ladies who hunt, hunt.
Yeah. Yeah, but also ladies who lunch.
Yeah,
Schmitty, do you remember when we were in the UK? I'm sure it was when you were there, because I think it's, because I use this saying all the time. There was an ad for McDonald's and it was like some really chavvy girls and it was like, ladies what lunch? Do you remember that?
No.
Ladies what lunch?
Ladies what lunch?
Lunch, yeah. And there were these two girls. I would have
been there, but I probably didn't pay attention.
I say it all the time when we're going out for lunch, ladies what lunch, and no one gets it. Course. But I thought and now you didn't ever get it, but I'm sure you were still there. I reckon if I found it,
would have been.
Yeah, it's an old ad. Yeah. Anyway, ladies what lunch, ladies what shoot lunch, whatever. Yeah. It's a very interesting name.
Swanee, what are you on?
Oh, surprise!
Are you drinking
a marginally cooler?
I was going to say, or is it room temperature?
I know I've cracked
open. I've been to the fridge and I've cracked open a slightly cooler. Well, I hope.
Are you out of the ginger beer?
No, but I've got to drive this afternoon.
Okay. All right, cool.
Oh, no, I've still got lots of that left.
All right, cool. So I suppose we should introduce ourselves. I'm Schmitty.
I'm Swanee.
And I'm Clarky. And together we are Trial by Wine. So good. So good.
Indeed. Now, who's got a story for us today?
Pick me.
Swanee? No, just kidding. Clarky, go for
it. I knew I was going to get one this time. When I went to Horsham the other week for work, we were out for dinner with the team and they put me onto this little gem, which is a story of exorcism in a little town called Antwerp, which is in rural Victoria. Now, I had not...
God, two Australian stories back to back.
I know. I had not heard this story, and to think that it's in our backyard is kind of incredible. So anyway, let's talk exorcism. So first up, my...
we never have before, have we?
Oh, my God.
No, we've not done exorcism.
No, but it's cracker. Yeah, go on. This is another one you're going to say, Schmitty.
I know you're going to know stuff about this. I know she's going to know stuff about this. And I'm the person who has never watched a horror movie because I'm so terrified of that. So I will know nothing. And tread lightly because I will have nightmares.
I thought you were going to say, I'm the person who's never had an exorcism.
No, I haven't watched any of the movies that feature exorcisms. I can't cope. Anyway, this is going to give me nightmares.
I did a bit of research for this. It was really quite interesting. So the sources I've got are straightforwardguidance.com, adam.com.au, news.com.au, deseret.com.au, maybe, and Twisted History. So I thought we could kick off the story talking a little bit about exorcism. So, Schmitty, I've got some points here that I found interesting about exorcism. I'm sure you'll have plenty to add. And Swanee, you can just sit there with a look of horror on your face. Yeah.
Terrified. Oh, God. Oh, God.
Oh, goodness. So, I didn't know this because my experience up until now with exorcism was really the movie. And so I always had in my head that it was a Catholic kind of thing. Exorcism techniques vary across cultures and are nearly limitless in their variety. Strategies have included simply asking the spirit what it wants and appeasing it, transferring the spirit into a stone or an animal that is then destroyed, having the patient consume blessed substances such as holy water or sacred writings. Having them consume sacred writings, I don't even want to know.
I'm sure they don't have to eat sacred writings.
It's like,
okay.
I'll write on a piece of paper and shove it down their throat.
Just eat this.
It probably is.
Or even sending for someone possessed by a more powerful spirit who can scare the other spirit away.
It doesn't sound like a good strategy.
That's a bad strategy, surely. But yes.
Yeah.
Exorcism can be deadly. So exorcism's most dangerous forms involve making the patient so uncomfortable that the spirit no longer wishes to inhabit their body.
Yeah.
Beating the patient, fumigating them with noxious substances.
Look at her. She's like, yep.
Or immersing them in water are all examples of such strategies.
Yeah.
Swanee, I reckon she's... I was going to say she's read this article, but I think she wrote it.
Schmitty, did you have a lot of... not exposure, I don't mean that, but was this talked about a lot at your high school?
Not at all.
No. I thought maybe, because it was a very...
Only
because of the
behind
movies,
the shelter sheds.
But you know what I mean? There was a certain time when there were lots of, certainly before the internet, if a movie, there was, urban myths and whatever else. I wondered if it was something that you sort of had a bit of dealing with at high school. I kind of didn't, but I just wondered.
No, I would say that my knowledge about exorcism has come from listening to other podcasts. Probably doing some reading on it at some point. That search history again.
My own.
And also I suppose in some ways it is interesting because, as you say, Clarky, it's not just around the Catholic Church, but the Catholic Church has had really, and you may cover this, has had some really quite distinct rules around exorcism, who can perform them, what rituals are used, and it's in that kind of dark web space of the Catholic Church, in that these are the sorts of things that they will not talk about. These are the things that that if you go into the archives of the Vatican, you'll find a whole lot of interesting stuff that we don't generally get to see. So it is a fairly fascinating space, but we've talked about shamanism before, and shamans at times will perform exorcisms. It's not specific to a particular religion. It is just anyone who thinks that someone has been possessed by a demon or devil can, and that's the point. You don't have to be an ordained priest. You can, anyone who wants to, who thinks they're up for the challenge, can actually exorcise a devil. So go for it, Clarky.
I reckon you'd put your hand up for that.
Yeah.
With your white glove on and you drink in one hand, go, fuck off, let's take it.
And the other.
I reckon you'd be like, all right.
Psychologically, the damage that the thinking like this can do to you is extraordinary. So no, I wouldn't want to.
This is scaring me already. I'm already feeling
don't want to know about it.
It terrifies me.
So, unfortunately, there are numerous examples of would-be exorcists who have killed their patients using these methods.
100%.
Those killed in this manner are almost always children or young women. Exorcism is a worldwide phenomenon. So exorcism of demons from individuals is not limited to Roman Catholicism, as we spoke about, or even the Western world. Every major religion performs it all over the world. Exorcism is practiced differently in Buddhism, Islam, Judaism, and Hinduism. According to psychiatry, the symptoms attributed to the possessed, i.e. the patient, are associated with physical or mental illnesses such as hysteria, mania, psychosis, Tourette's syndrome, epilepsy, and schizophrenia.
Yeah.
Dissociative identity disorder, or even rare cases of autism.
It's a misdiagnosis, basically.
Exorcism is a misdiagnosis?
Saying someone's possessed by the devil is usually a misdiagnosis.
Don't get me started.
On this we agree. I think. I think on this time we're going. Yep, no, that's just bullshit.
It just reeks of bullying. I hate it. Exorcisms are portrayed in movies as a long and drawn-out process, despite the fact that it is frequently necessary to repeat the ritual for days on end. The ritual itself is actually quite short. It only lasts an hour. And then something that I learnt in my research, which I found fascinating because clearly I don't play in these circles, but in 1995, the Catholic Church revealed that it was performing around 6 exorcisms each year in Adelaide.
The city of churches.
Well, that was just a stat that I could find.
Bizarre.
Yeah, possibly the city of churches, but no, but that was just a stat that I could find that was relevant to Australia. So I'm shocked that exorcisms even happened in the 90s, let alone
Me too.
6 of them a year in Adelaide. So, I thought exorcism was more like a medieval or a,
thing.
Yeah.
Well, I've known about cases from like the 30s and 40s,
Yeah,
but I think if you live in a highly religious household and everyone accepts or believes that a demon is the problem, it's like a placebo effect. Like even though psychologists would say that's not what the issue is here, the act of the exorcism may work from a placebo perspective, but I don't rate them. I think they're all just hokum. Yeah. Anyway.
So reading through, there's obviously a real conflict of opinions between the scientific community and the religious community.
Yeah.
There was, and I didn't include this as one of the points, but there was a fair bit of talk around the fact that an exorcism needs to have a medical diagnosis whereby they can't determine what the issue is. Now, I would have thought, nowadays that would almost be not a thing. In terms of mental health, they would have a label for it. Whether or not the religious community agrees with the label, or even diagnosing with someone as schizophrenia, they might say that's a symptom, not an illness, and so their behaviour is the work of the devil, not the mental health condition.
Yeah. By the way, people are usually not possessed by the devil. They're usually possessed by, if you believe any of this shit, they're usually possessed by different types of demons.
It's a good
point.
Do demons?
The devil's busy, man.
Do they work for the devil though? Is it like
the devil's lazy?
Yeah. Today's army.
Yeah, they're part of the hierarchy of Satan. Yeah,
they're just like the worker bees. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I left the medical bit out is because there is certainly talk of that being required. And Schmitty, I think to your point around Catholicism and the sort of rules around exorcism, that appears to be one of them. However, in the story I'm going to tell you, you'll very clearly see that that's not the case. And what worries me about this sort of stuff is that literally anyone can take up.
Anyone can perform an exorcism.
Well, but also in this instance, they get the religious people in the community to do it without any medical diagnosis. And it feels like if you think that this needs to happen and the community you're part of is also judgy and a little bit too religious for their own good, they'll happily victimize someone because they, under the guise of exorcism. Anyway.
Did we touch on this in Switzerland, Schmitty, with yours? It wasn't quite excellent. What were they?
It wasn't so much that. She was pretty convinced that the
devil
hordes
and
of
his
the devil
army
was
were
going
coming.
to arrive. Yeah,
that's
she was the answer to that. So she just thought she was Christ. She thought she was the reborn Christ, which is wrong.
So this, my friends, is the Joan Vollmer story.
Voldemort.
Not Voldemort.
Did you say the Joan Voldemort story?
What's her name?
Vollmer, Vollmer. So the extraordinary saga begins in January 1993 when pig farmer Ralph Vollmer became convinced his second wife Joan had become possessed by demons. Stuart's just done something which made me... it's a thing that I do. Do you remember the movie Razorback? I think it was.
The pig?
And the pig.
The giant,
I've never seen it, but I'm aware of it.
So
I watched it.
This is...
It's a terrible film.
It's not a visual joke. So you guys will see me doing it, and the visual bit isn't the funny bit, it's the noise. But are you ready?
Oh my word!
Yeah, it sounds
That's what I was doing this for.
Yeah, that was...
Is that do you have to move your face like that?
I don't know how else to do
create
it.
the noise. I'm going to take my glasses off to give it a shot. Warming up. It's like that pre-slap.
I was going to say...
No, I can't do it. No, I can't do it.
You got to suck air through back through your vocal cords. So... Oh, that was very low, wasn't it?
That was
a very male.
No, your last squid.
Oh, that
How do you
nearly
squid?
I can't even do it.
That's it?
Oh, God.
My sinuses are thanking you. Wow.
That used a hell of a lot of energy.
Maybe we should take some video footage of that
No.
and put it on the Facebook page for our listeners.
Maybe no.
No.
That
I
is
heard a hard no from Swanee there.
no, no.
What do you mean exactly?
But thank you for teaching us a new trick.
I used to be very good at a dolphin, but I haven't done it in many, many years. So I don't know
go
what
on, do it. Squeals like a stuck
I
pig.
can't do it. Hang on. No, I'll have to practice it off.
Does it sound like a real dolphin or does it sound like Flipper? Because Flipper
That's
does
it,
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently dolphins don't sound like that. That's a sped up kookaburra. That
what
was
from
a
Flipper?
Yeah, that was a flip.
Really?
There was a sound. Yes, it was a sound effect that they used. That
My
they
childhood
sped
was a
up.
lie.
Well,
I love
It
Flipper.
is. I'm sorry to tell you that.
Yeah,
I was
Outrageous.
definitely.
To
I
bring
was
back.
way more in Flipper's camp than Skippy. Skippy was
Oh,
a bit.
come on! You can't domesticate a kangaroo. So Skippy was like thousands of Skippies because every time he hopped down the road,
Off
he was
he'd go.
Gone.
They had to get another one.
Never
that
coming
right?
back.
Oh, Skippy.
Right. Sorry, we digress. Tell us more about exorcism.
So, Ralph Vollmer told friends in the local district who were members of an ousted church group that evil
course.
spirits were making Joan.
Yeah, they were ousted, all right.
The evil spirits were making Joan dance outside, use bad language, act like a prostitute, and behave like a pig or dog. Goodness, we all just behave like pigs or tried
Imagine that.
to.
I complain about my partner sometimes, but I can't imagine that going to person. Oh my god.
Oh, I was going to say, I think I can tick all of those
Yeah.
boxes.
She's
at
dancing
some point or
outside.
other. Dance outside. What was the other thing? Act like
Like a
a
prostitute, yeah.
I can be a bit slutty at times. I used to drop it like it's hot, drop it like it's hot. I can't now because I've got no hips, but in the olden days,
That's
Carla
only why
can
your hips are
attest-
problematic, because you were dropping
I
like
know
that.
the amount of twerking I did in my
Correct.
youth is
Yeah.
before twerking was even a thing.
This is very true.
I used to twerk, and I've got no hips left. So let that be a
Did you
warning
do the
to
bend
everyone.
and snap?
No, I did more like a squat and snap.
A booty kind of.
Yeah, I know the one
Yeah,
you mean.
well,
yeah.
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 In 4 to 5 inch heels, by the way, also adding to my hip issue now.
And acting like a prostitute.
Yeah, that'll do it.
I don't know about acting like a dog though.
No, or a pig. That's a struggle. I don't know. Short of doing what we just did then, I don't know what would constitute acting like a pig.
No.
Yeah. So,
Eating
More
a human
information,
body
please.
within 20 minutes.
yeah, rolling in the mud.
Yes, but beyond that, I can't imagine what else you'd be doing.
No.
So Vollmer, he was 55 at the time, tried tying Joan to their bed or locking her in the basement, but she became hysterical and screamed throughout the night. I feel like that's...
And this was in 1993, did you say?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, so it's quite a while ago.
I feel like that would be a normal reaction to being tied to your bed, locked in the basement, becoming hysterical and screaming throughout that night. That's not a sign of demonic possession, surely.
I reckon I'd still be able to sleep, knowing me. Oh, at least I got a break from Ralph. What a dick. I'd be like, yeah, this is better. He sounds awful.
Way better.
Yeah.
So calling on his neighbours, John Reichenbach, who was 31, and his wife Leanne, and their spiritual leader, 78-year-old expelled Lutheran Lee Clugston, Vollmer and the group concluded...
Fucking Lutherans. See,
yeah,
Marguerite and her lot were with Lutherans.
That's right.
Yep.
one religion does not like to start to judge another. That's the way wars start.
No, they love to judge each other. That's the whole point. Anyway,
Yeah,
moving on.
those of us who aren't religious don't like it when they do, because this is what happens. Love thy neighbour unless they have a different religion, then kill the fucker.
I know, it's terrible. I'm not disagreeing with you.
Anyway, so they concluded that 10 demons were living in Joan's body.
10?
I
How'd
don't
they
know.
get to that?
I don't
They're
know
very
how you conclude
precise.
that. It must be a very scientific process. Clearly. So, Vollmer and Leanne Reichenbach tied Joan down and, denying her food and water so as not to feed the
There's
beasts
starvation.
inside her,
Yeah.
Oh.
started praying. Tied down with her own stockings in the excessive summer heat, Joan
Oh.
began to beg for food and water, scream and
Jesus.
struggle against her bonds. For those of you who don't know, Horsham in summer is very, very hot. It's like one of those kind of semi-arid places. It's, there's a lot of farming that goes on there, but there's not a lot of rain. It's dusty. It's hot. It's just hard. So for her to be tied down like that in the middle of summer would be definitely a challenge.
Excruciating. Yeah.
So Vollmer decided they needed help to oust the demons and called in another church member 28-year-old David Klingner. They strapped her down further and slapped her face. Vollmer later said that he felt Joan was no longer his wife, but an evil spirit that needed to be dealt with.
Just get a divorce.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I know, fuck. The group then called on 23-year-old Matthew Nusky, an assistant greenkeeper at the golf course, whose mother believed he had special powers. Like these people, they're so far up themselves and they just want to fucking bully someone. Ugh. Nusky blessed some olive oil and ordered the members of the exorcism group douse themselves with it. Then took a box of cling wrap.
And then set themselves on fire?
Yeah, if only. Fuck. And that would have made it her far less possessed. I bet she would have been back to normal in no time.
No, that's right.
Listen to this bit, though. So after they doused themselves with the olive oil, he then took a box of cling wrap and circled the house 7 times with it, sealing doors and windows against
That's
demons.
a lot of cling wrap.
That was definitely, one of
How
those.
big was that roll?
Precise. Let's work out in
because
meters
it
we
was
need.
one of
He would
those
correct
commercial hospitality catering
500
one, which is like
500
500
metres.
and
He's had to go down and get that
500
from
to
the
1,000 metres,
Costco.
Old mate greenkeeper just happened to have one
Precisely.
in his top drawer.
For these purposes.
Like, come on.
Yep.
Oh, I'm not buying that. That's a hell of a lot
That
of
is a
cling wrap.
lot. 30 metres is usually what I buy. That's
It'd have to get the
ridiculous.
300 one at least.
And how would you carry it around? Do you know what I mean?
And-
I'm fine.
And I watched a shit ton of Supernatural when it was on, and they never wrapped a house in
because they knew
cling
how
film.
practical it was. They didn't have the the yardage.
The special powers.
Salt. They used to put salt to stop demons and spirits and stuff passing over a certain boundary. They used to salt
That's
it, which
so
is
much
quite
easier.
normal.
Better for the environment. Better for everything.
I know.
I think we need to make a suggestion there.
grinders.
Yeah. Bit of Saxa around the
Yeah.
outside.
Shit with cling
They
film.
last forever, those Saxa containers.
They
you
do,
only
but
need one of those.
I
You could
wouldn't-
still use it for 4 or 5 exorcisms, I'd imagine.
Is it better if you use Himalayan
You'd
salt?
go the pink Himalayan,
No,
surely.
it's too expensive.
No.
Too
Come
expensive.
on.
They don't
Don't be
appreciate
silly.
it.
Need,
They don't
you need
appreciate it.
standard
Yeah.
table salt. That's all you need.
It's
No,
probably
they're
far
devils,
less
aren't they?
offensive to demons too. You want the
Yeah, go
harsh
Saxa.
salt, don't you?
Just pour that
Yeah.
out of that old plastic tub.
Nusky also asked the members to smash Joan's possessions with a hammer
Oh.
and destroy her flower beds and greenhouse to disrupt any lurking demons.
That's like bashing the house down with Marguerite.
How
and
do
her
you
idiot
fucking...
chums.
That's like, I just want to justify my shit behaviour and I need a reason, so let's go with demonic possession.
Well, the greenskeeper didn't like the work she did in her garden. That's
Correct.
just
She was
tall poppy
competition.
syndrome.
Judgy.
Yeah.
He probably beat her in the front yard garden stakes for the last 5 years in Antwerp, and so he had to get
She
rid
did.
of her.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Competition. Yeah,
sorry, she probably beat him, yes.
Yeah, I agree.
So, he had identified the demons living inside Joan as the spirit of filth.
Is that like a McDonald's hamburger filled out of milk?
I'm not aware of the spirit of
Yeah,
filth.
it's the lesser known of the demonic armies.
Yeah. They normally have weird names, but okay,
It's
spirit
like
of filth.
it's like Grover from Sesame Street.
Oh,
Lives in
he's
the
a spirit of filth,
garbage.
is he?
Also, a mother and daughter demon, and this is just ridiculous. A mother and daughter demon named Princess Joan and Princess Baby Joan. Like her name is Joan, as if she's been possessed by Princess
What a
Joan and
coincidence!
Princess Baby Joan.
What a coincidence.
Oh God! And Legion, a
Yeah, legions, all of them. That's
No,
right.
no.
Yeah, here we go.
No, this
Here we go.
is Legion is the
Mhm.
is who's possessed her. A multitude of powerful demons. The Bible says Jesus Christ exorcised from a possessed man.
Really?
I am Legion. Yeah, no, that makes more sense from a stupid religious context than filth. And what was the other?
Christ.
Filth and
Princess
just
Joan
a
and
bit dirty.
Princess Baby
The
Joan.
Princess Baby Joan.
Fucking
for fuck's
hell. Princess Baby Joan. Imagine if you got possessed by that. Like, whatever, mate.
Well, I wouldn't like it. I don't want to be
Scary.
possessed by anything, but yeah, Scary Spice.
Oh,
I'd be more happy to be possessed by Scary Spice. Yeah.
I reckon Princess Joan is Scary Spice and Princess Baby Joan is Baby Spice. And being possessed by Baby Spice doesn't sound scary at all.
Too frightening at all. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. Although
She's doing fine for herself, old Emma Button.
Although if she sung Tonight is the Night That Two Become One over and over and over again, that would make me crazy.
Yeah, let's not get onto the Spice Girls.
Okay.
However, Colours of the World,
Boy
Spice
and
up
every
your life.
girl,
Every
Spice
boy and
up
every
your
girl,
life.
spice up your children of the world.
Step to the left
If you're having a good time.
shake it to the right if you're having something or other.
If you know that you feel fine,
See ya.
There you go. Thank you.
sing it to the
That's
left.
it.
Go round.
Yeah, that's right. I used to love that song. As
Me
you
too.
well know.
That was a Foxtel classic.
Mm-hmm.
At the start of this podcast, before we went on to air, we were talking about Russian slapping.
Slapping, yeah.
Yep, and you'll recall that we posted that on Facebook after Schmitty sentenced
Back in May.
the vegan on the
Mhm.
run bloke. So
Fat bastard meat suit.
yeah, that's him. So I want you to picture that bit of footage when I say this. Nusky slapped Joan fully in the face to oust the demons.
Oh.
But, and this is where the humour ends, her head was slammed against the wall and she begged
Jesus.
for her life.
Oh, Jesus. You'd be terrified.
Yes.
This whole
correct.
bunch of crazy people have ganged up on you. Oh, my goodness.
At 4 p.m. on January the 30th, the group moved Joan's battered body to the bedroom
Oh.
where members sat on her and began pummeling her head, neck, and chest to squeeze the demons from her womb up through her mouth because the 10 demons were residing in her womb.
Of course they were.
Like, I'm not, what the
Fuck
fuck
off.
is that even? You sick, twisted fucks.
No, don't hold back, Clarky.
It's
No.
just bullshit. You just
No.
know they're standing like, and who says it? And then they all go, oh, he must be right. And then they probably all chime in.
Oh, that
It's just
must
like,
be
who
right.
can
Yeah,
come up with the
that's
most fantastical kind of bullshit? It's just awful.
Yeah, it really is. It makes me angry. As
You do a good job of bringing these cases to our attention, though. Yeah.
people bring them to my attention. Like, God, who would choose to give this case to me? Though,
Sick, twisted
I'm
fucks.
going to sack them all. No, I do thank them for it. Eventually, Joan Vollmer fell quiet. And we've heard that a couple of times. They fall
Otherwise known
quiet.
as unconscious. Yeah.
And Nusky claimed victory over the demons and said she would arise by morning as her normal self. Now, the one we spoke about in Switzerland was like from the 1600s or something.
Like,
This is
30
this is
years
not
ago.
It
quite.
wasn't. It was 18
is-
something, I think. But yeah, it
Yeah.
was still very long ago.
This is not
back
even
in the timey
30
winding
years.
machine.
And in
Yeah, no, this is sick.
and in like Australia, which is by a lot of standards not very religious.
It's 93. I was doing a university degree at this point in time. This is bullshit. Yeah.
So yeah, he said that she would arise by morning as her normal self. So that was on the 30th of January.
Well, I was in a musical shoot. She was.
Oh, no, you
rising.
wouldn't have gone back
Yeah,
yet,
yeah.
love. You still would have been on holidays. You'd normally start in February. Yeah, right.
Oh,
well,
sorry. Well, God, you pay attention to the detail better than I do. Yep,
It's
sorry.
true.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was just probably getting pissed.
no, but I
or
was
doing
thinking,
something.
you would have been hot wherever you were, though, I'm sure.
You would have been on the houseboat.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Sorry. Not being exercised for demons
No.
or anything like that.
Just
Yeah.
jumping off
But
the
maybe
roof.
exhibiting some of the symptoms, like behaving like a pig or a dog, or dancing outside,
That gets me.
using bad language. Like you could have used some of them.
Oh,
surely.
definitely
The
would have used bad
dancing
language.
outside,
but
you
I-
can tell, you can
and
see what
danced
tip
outside.
them. Tip them. Tip them
You
over.
could have
I do
been-
that today.
You could have been acting like a pig after having too many Asti Ricodonas.
Yeah, no, I could have. You're right.
Yeah. Right.
Jeez, I'm glad I was in Metro Melbourne and not in Antwerp. But
Exactly.
Oh,
Well, this
God.
could have been you. So by Monday, February the 1st, so 2 days later, the body had swollen
Oh,
in the
Jesus.
40-degree heat. And for our Fahrenheit, friends, that's 104 Fahrenheit, was stinking and decomposing. And
So when she went quiet, she died.
yeah. Well, like we've seen that before plenty of times where people, abuse someone to the point where they fell quiet.
Yeah.
So, she was stinking and decomposing, and blowflies and things were gathering.
Gathering.
Oh, stop.
What are the things? Like, I get...
Were they gathering around?
I get
Yeah.
Were they
blowflies.
waiting? Were they gathered,
Centipede.
like talking to each other, getting ready for something? It's like a scene out of Ants.
Yeah.
We're just gathering here. Everybody,
They were flash mobbing.
How many
They were
more
ready to do a
should
flash
expect to
mob.
arrive and at what time? When do you think we're ready to
Showed
go
up
in?
randomly, looked.
When are we
looked like
going
they were
in?
just
When are we
milling
going in?
around as a crowd, and then bang,
Yeah.
went into a dance.
Just say the word.
routine.
Yeah.
We're going in.
I think they were counting down from
It's a
1,862
beautiful night.
to see if she'd
Looking
actually rise. With no resurrection in sight, what do you reckon Ralph is going to do?
Not call the police.
Get rid of the body or something, or have another go. Have another go.
Oh, no. Well,
Feed her to the pigs.
Oh,
Because he's a pig
so,
farmer.
oh, jeepers, that's a good
Yeah.
one. No, because he loves her, right?
yeah, right.
I don't think he does. I think this is just a very convenient way of getting rid of wife number 2. but, right.
Well, so he didn't call the
Or
police. You're
inconvenient.
right. Carla, he didn't try again, although he did send for a local Baptist minister, which kind of assumes that maybe he would try again if the minister thought it was okay. The minister comes to the house and finds the group eating lunch as Joan's body laid covered in flies,
Oh, it's just
bloating
like
and
Marguerite.
decomposing in the 40-degree heat.
Remember after Marguerite got, or Margareta got crucified and died, they went
Yeah.
downstairs and had dinner?
Had some
yeah.
snacks.
Yeah, we're hungry. We've worked up an appetite. Yeah.
So the minister, who is the least crazy one here,
You haven't said that yet.
Called-
I'm intrigued by what he's got to say on arrival. Is it a
well,
crime
no,
scene?
he called a doctor. He called a doctor and the police.
Thank God.
Thank God for a minister.
Thank God for someone with a bit of common sense.
They-
He walked into a crime scene.
Ministers wouldn't exist without
Oh,
God.
yes.
Thank God for the
Point
minister.
taken.
As she rolls her
I
eyes.
don't know who missed it, but I got it. Eventually.
Oh, the dog's upset now.
Pino.
You've upset the dog.
He's a God boiler.
Pino Greyjoy said, cut it out,
Yeah.
people.
Enough with the God jokes.
She's very sweet, but she's like, oh, I'm possessed of the devil now.
Yeah, sorry.
Legion has ascended on poor old Pino.
Correct. And she's going to smash him.
And she's going to smash him in the face, that's right.
Come here, Legion. I've got you. I'll get you by the nuts.
Oh,
Right, so a second resurrection date was set to coincide with the funeral at Horsham on Friday the 5th
what? By whom?
by Ralph, at which he claimed she would rise from
No,
the
but was
dead.
this before the police had arrived? What's going on with the police?
No, yeah. So the police turned up and they all went through what happened.
Look, I'm a person, as we all have discussed many a time, of religion, but Jesus, this stuff shits me.
Don't take the Lord's name in vain. I find it really offensive.
He'll forgive me.
Jesus,
I'll just say sorry at the end.
Jesus, titty fucking.
Oh,
Or as a friend of mine used to say, Jesus H, tap dancing Christ.
Yeah.
Who was also a devout Catholic, by the way. Therefore, I think it's fine. It's fine.
So the police turned up and we'll get to it.
Oh.
We won't go into detail a lot about what happened there, but you
so
will
did
get the
Ralph's
story
idea of the
continues, right?
resurrection happening later, had that already been covered or discussed or with the group? No?
No, because he'd said that she was going. Oh, sorry, Nusky had said that she was going to be resurrected.
Oh,
on the
Nusky.
1st
And you
of
remember, he had
February.
special
That's right.
powers.
Okay.
So because that didn't happen, then they went, oh, it must be going to happen at a
Oh,
funeral.
right. So did they think that she was actually dead, though, or did they think that she was in some state of kind of...
Oh, she's dead. That's what resurrection
knew
is
she was
about.
dead. Okay.
You're resurrected
Okay.
from the dead.
They didn't think
Yeah.
she was, like,
Yeah.
just really
So
fucked up.
originally it was
Not just having a nap.
originally it was exorcism, then it was resurrection, and now a second resurrection date has been set. You know that
Oh,
time when you went, oh, that's awkward, it didn't
Oh,
work.
so just another day.
Let's
So we'll
continue the
try it again
charade.
next week.
I'm free on Friday. Can we
Um,
put it in for Friday? Yes. I've
Yeah.
got a good feeling about
Sorry,
Friday.
I was in 7 days lockdown.
Yeah, it's a bit like us trying to organise our next recording schedule. I'm available then.
Yeah, that's right.
Can we squeeze that in?
So back to the story. Do you
Yeah,
reckon?
sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. No, don't apologise. I just Just wondered.
So
That seemed
judgy.
very passive aggressive.
Judgy.
Yeah, passive aggressive.
Are we ready?
is
Are we
quite
ready?
right, yeah.
Well, clearly we're
Go!
not.
We are.
We're ready. I'm
ready.
ready.
At moment's
I can't
notice.
wait to hear what happens.
She rose from the dead and everyone sang psalms.
Well, I want
and
to know
it
what
was
happened when the
wonderful.
police arrived, actually. He's doing what a teacher does. He's holding out and being silent until we talk ourselves out. I know what's going on. Fuck off, Mr.
Exactly
Clark.
what I'm doing.
Am I bothered?
Because I said
Yeah, no match for us.
back to the story, and then you both just
Crap it
carried
on.
on for so long. I'm like, I don't know what else to do. I'll just wait.
Oh, that never happens to either of us.
Precisely, Schmitty, precisely.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a mother and I've also been hit. I saw you just going, I'm just going to sit here until they tore themselves out.
Mhm.
Are you
You
done?
Are we good? Right.
Can we move on now?
You're quite right.
You just
Right.
let me know when you're ready to continue.
I think we've done that.
Please continue.
I've already done
Yeah,
that.
we did that hours ago.
And
but
then
yeah,
kept
go on.
talking. So, said Vollmer in the TV report, I do not believe I know this will happen. The whole thing has been God's plan from the very beginning, and his name is going to be glorified like it's never been before. Before her body is lowered into the grave, he's going to raise her up again, and I hope and pray that your cameras will be there because the Lord wants the world to see this.
Are there stats on the number of people who have been killed, with people expecting they'll be resurrected in terms of the success rate? I just
It's a
wondered
bit
if they were
niche.
well.
It's a bit
It is.
niche.
I wondered. Well, there must be enough. There
Well,
must have
apart
reference.
from Jesus.
Apart from him, what else are we looking at numbers wise? Like, is
Yep.
there a?
Yeah.
Well,
no,
debatably
Lazarus prior.
one. Debatably one.
Oh,
Present at the funeral were about 30 journalists and photographers, 50 mourners, and scores of spectators. So it just became a bit of a circus. When the coffin was lowered and the wife didn't step out, Mr. Vollmer hypothesised that she liked her new home too much to return to this world and began to cry.
Oh.
oh well. He gave it his best shot.
It was like, yeah, that's true. Now,
You know, don't be hard on yourself, Ralph. You know, you did what you thought was right.
I even
She's-
rescheduled it.
I know. Oh, poor guy.
I think his
Oh.
crying would have been like Cigarette Sally. And for everyone who doesn't know, which is probably most of our listeners, Cigarette Sally was this lady who used to hang out by the train station in Brunswick. And as you walked up to her, she'd go, "Have you got $7 for cigarettes for me?" And then everyone would just go, "Fuck off." And she'd go, that was her crying because she didn't get her $7 for cigarettes.
Just a real person.
Yeah, real person. Not her real name.
That means I think it's gone up about. We bought some for a party about. Oh gosh, it was probably coming up to a year ago now, and it cost me $100 to buy 2 packets of cigarettes. I kid you not.
$50, yeah.
Yeah, $109
Are they
actually.
really?
And that
Yeah,
was
it's
for a
outrageous.
packet of Vogue and a packet of what else did I
Yeah,
get?
Vogue.
Marlboro, I
Yeah,
think.
Vogue.
Yeah,
$60
expensive.
at a 7-Eleven.
But every single thing that I buy has gone up, and I've really, really noticed it in the last probably 2 months, and today,
yeah.
shockingly so.
The
so
cost
I'm not
of living's
surprised.
gone up
It's huge.
through the
But-
roof
It's
in the last
really,
couple
I've
of months,
really
yeah.
noticed it more than
Yeah.
I ever have in my whole life. I've noticed it.
But
in the last
ScoMo's
6 weeks.
$250 would have really helped alleviate that pressure, wouldn't it?
I did
No, I
not.
didn't even get it. Did you get it?
No.
We wouldn't get it. We
No.
earned too much to get it.
Correct.
Yeah.
No, but also I don't want it. I don't want money being spent like that.
There
Anyway.
was an ad that I think Clive Palmer had done or something like that where they divided over what that would be to the equivalent of over 2 years or something.
Says Clive Palmer, the man who owns like
Yeah.
$400 billion of stuff and doesn't pay tax. Anyway, moving on.
Correct.
Correct.
So we're now about to make reference to Darren Hinch, and so I thought
Oh
rather
my
than
goodness.
me explaining to our listeners who Darren Hinch is, that should be up to you two.
Darren Hinch was in the olden days the equivalent of a shock jock but on TV. But more importantly for our international listeners, Jackie Weaver's husband.
Yes, that
That's
is
right.
true.
The actress.
Good
Well,
call.
not anymore.
Are they still together,
Not
though?
anymore. No. But
back
those
in
of
the
you
day.
who will have seen Jackie Weaver, who is a fantastic Australian actress who's had one of those incredible returns to fame.
Revivals.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Real. What's a comeback type story?
Yeah.
She was at one point in time married to Darren Hinch, and lucky for her, she's no longer married to Darren Hinch because he's a dick. Anyway,
He also. Oh, Swanee, what have you
I
got
don't
to
have
add?
much more to add because I had forgotten about him, and I remember there was a time he used to have a show which was really prime time, maybe 7 p.m. Was it even called the Darren Hinch Show? Was it like that? Now I can't even really remember what sort of format that was, but he was always very controversial, wasn't he? In that sort of like,
Yeah,
Wasn't it a current affair?
here's my opinion, have a go and everything. Yeah. So he had an opinion on everything, but he had a catchphrase, but I do not recall what that was. But I've only heard it recently, and I thought, I forgot he even said that.
Yeah, he did have a hint, line.
Yes,
that he
I'll
used
see if
to
I
say
can
all
find
the
it.
time.
Yeah,
wouldn't remember.
Shame.
that's it. I think.
Yeah,
yes.
there was. That's
That's
exactly
it. Well
done.
done, Stu. Oh my
Well
god.
done.
So for our American listeners, he's probably a bit like Howard Stern. Just so you know who we just to give you that little bit of context, yeah.
So also in Australia, we're going through an election at the moment, and there is a Darren Hinch party because he moved from that into politics. So yes,
Is that right?
100%. Yeah. Yep.
That's
You'll see
life, it says. Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
life.
right.
That's life.
Yes.
Yeah, but his party's byline is shame.
Shame.
I remember that, yes.
On us.
Yeah, exactly. Should be.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Rightio. So, in a different TV report, Darren Hinch interviewed Catholic priest Father John Shanley, who had performed exorcisms since 1978. Said Father Shanley, things like that, as in the movie The Exorcist, can happen. People begin to throw up. How much do you reckon they throw up, according to Father Shanley?
Buckets and buckets.
Does it have to be green?
Or just a little upchuck, like I have when I see a Clive Palmer billboard. Little upchuck in my mouth.
So if you're being exercised, how much do you reckon you would throw up?
Oh, the exorcism, where her head span around and
You reckon
Linda
that'd be
Blair
you?
and no, I mean the contents of my stomach probably.
Yeah, righto.
Couple of
Swanee,
litres.
what about you?
I really don't know. I don't really want to offer up an answer either.
Okay.
Because I fear that you're going to say, if you're going to measure it in litres, I've got an issue.
Yeah, right. So
it's going to be the volume
Like
you talk about.
the Witches of Eastwick, when
Yes.
they spewed all those
what a great movie. I'm gonna
cherry pips.
We should watch that again. I haven't seen
It is a great
in
movie.
ages. So Father Shanley, who has been performing exorcisms since 1978, says
So he knows what he's talking about.
Oh, it's a dab hand.
says people begin to throw up.
Mhm.
About a teaspoon of black stuff.
Right.
That's not throwing up. It's not throwing
In that
up.
case, I
That's a little
apologise.
Clive Palmer
I thought
upchuck
we were
in
going to
my
talk
mouth.
litres of green stuff. Oh, okay.
That's like when you just have a little bit of dribble.
That's like the
Like
sesame.
a
Oh,
teaspoon.
sesame.
It's like when
That's the
you burp.
spaghetti bolognese burp. You know that one? The
Yeah,
burp?
exactly
it's
right.
when you had a fizzy drink
Oh, a
and
little
then
bit.
you've eaten.
Oh, ouch. That
Yeah, it's when
burns.
you've had a fizzy drink and then
Yeah.
you've eaten something over the top of it, and then you're like, "Oh, I need to burp," and then boop,
Yeah.
up it comes.
Someone
you-
should point out to him that that's called something repeating on you. That's it.
Yeah.
I probably go, oh, that just repeated.
You-
Oh, that just my grandfather used to say, party. Oh, that just repeated on you.
Yeah, and you swallow, and then you swallow it again and go, ugh,
Totally.
gross.
Bit of a
We call it a
burn,
hot
yeah.
burp.
No one.
That
I think that
reminds
was
me
a
of
demon that
story
was trying to
I'm not
get out.
going to
My
recount.
mistake.
That
Oh my
reminds me
God.
of a really like a confession, but I'm not going to go there.
Why not?
All right, quick one, and it's a complete digression.
Gosh, you had to convince her there.
I know, right? I'm so persuasive.
Massive,
You can tell
massive
us.
digression. But
can
Carl
tell I'm
will
in
remember
sales.
this.
Oh, God.
This,
Okay,
is,
what?
this is a shared history of us.
Oh.
When we worked at Foxtel, we had a director of marketing who was homosexual, and
No way.
but no one talked about it. This is back in the 90s.
Yeah, late
Yeah,
90s.
90s. Yeah. And no one talked about it. It was quite weird that no one ever acknowledged it. No one ever said anything. Anyway, he was also a very, very difficult man to work for. If you remember, Carla, we had to have the board of where we all were.
I really liked him, but I can remember the board, yep.
I came to like him, and this story plays a great part in why I came to like him.
Oh.
So I was terrified of him.
He was very scary. He was very
He
serious.
was scary, yeah. I was
agree with that.
terrified of this man. And I was doing some commercial negotiations on something, and everything I did was wrong, and it was all very difficult, and I had to keep going back to legal and blah blah blah. Anyway, long story short, I resigned, and my boss didn't tell anyone that I'd resigned for 5 days, and so I grew in anxiety about this resignation. The fact that no one knew that I'd resigned. I gave a ridiculous amount of notice, though. I gave like 5 months notice.
If this
period.
doesn't end with vomiting, I'm gonna.
It does.
Okay.
More
Good.
than that.
Good.
Okay, so listeners, strap in for this story. So we
I have no idea
having,
where we're going with it, incidentally.
Does it
None.
involve a bus
So-
stop?
No, bus stop. No. This is my own variation of the bus stop story. So we used to have what we used to call laughingly junior management drinks on the same evening that the senior management had drinks.
The real management, you mean?
Yeah, the actual management.
The actual management. Junior management.
So-
I'm pretty sure I came up with that title, actually. That sounds like
We
it's
used to
got my
call
name
it
all
junior
over it.
management drinks, and it was a joke, and it was just like the marketing girls, and
That
we
is
used to.
excellent.
They used to buy in really, really cheap alcohol, like $5 chuck, and that will play out. And on this occasion, I remember on the particular day that this happened, I had a bit of a tummy bug, and I was also starving myself. Carla's talked before about my penchant for eating country ladle. I was on my way to England. I wanted to lose
You were
weight. I wanted
tiny,
to hop
yeah.
for my boyfriend and all that sort of stuff. So I was starving, and I don't vouch for this behaviour at all, but that's what I did back in the 90s. So I'm starving myself, and on this day, Stella W went
Yep.
off to get some Vietnamese rice paper rolls because she used to do this thing. And I said, yeah, I'll have 2 of those. Anyway, they came back. That's all I'd eaten all day. And I had a touch of diarrhea that day. And I thought nothing of it.
Oh, God.
Fast forward to about 5:30 in the evening, and we start the junior management drinks. And I have about 2 or 3, no more than that, glasses of cheap Sav Plonk on a effectively empty stomach and a system that is also already clearing itself out. And I become a blotto. Like in a period of like 15 minutes, I go from fine to completely pissed as a newt.
Yeah.
I'm also anxious, so that actually is contextually important. And I remember one of my colleagues, who was one of the MDU rats, Carla, saying, "Oh, I think we need to get a cab for you." I was like, "Yeah, you probably do. I'm not good." Anyway, before the cab arrives, our boss, who terrified me, rocks back down with some other bloke. I to this day don't know who this man is. And they walk back down into the marketing office, and they look at me, and I say, "How are you going?" I said, "Is this your boyfriend?"
No.
So I don't know who this person is, but I completely out our senior director immediately in front of this other person. Oops, sorry. And then I go on to say, "Oh, well, you can't sack me anyway because I've resigned." Yeah. And he's looking at me like, "Who are you, and what did you do with this studious and quiet person that was Caroline?" And then, anyway, he's laughing. It's okay. And I think Billsy and Swanee were like, "You need to go." I'm like, "Yeah, I do. And then this cab shows up. I go home. On my way home, I'm living in North Bondi at this point in time. It's about a 20-minute drive. 15 minutes into the journey, I realise I have to vomit. And I think to myself, well, I'm not paying for a clean-up of a cab. So I chuck in my own mouth and I swallow it back down.
Yeah, there's only so many times you can do that, I've worked out.
I only did that once. I managed to get out of the cab. A really important piece of information is I'm also, to use a Clarky expression,
I know you say on the
block.
Don't say it.
Oh!
I have my period, which is another thing that, when you have your
Affects
period,
you, yeah.
it affects you. So all of these things are combining. Anyway, so I've got my period. I've got some kind of tummy bug. I'm also drunk as a skunk. I threw up in my mouth. I'm anxious, and I managed to swallow it down. And then I get into our flat, and I get far as the bathroom. I managed to get into the bathroom. I didn't projectile in the cab. I was very tidy. I managed to pay. I get in the house. I get as far as about the bathroom door, I shut the bathroom door and I can't work
Explode.
out whether I need to shit myself or vomit. I don't know which to do first. So I shat myself, and then I spewed, and then I
Did it fall
have to
asleep?
clean up. No, I have to clean up, right? So,
But did you do that thing after you'd been sitting there?
Oh
I
my
do feel a bit
God.
better now. Oh, that feels better. Oh,
no, I didn't feel better.
Oh.
So I did the chuck. I turned around. I finished whatever was still left in me in the toilet bowl. It
God.
wasn't in my pants. I take everything off.
I know you. You're thinking great diet day. Awesome.
I strip off everything. I'm fine. Now, TMI, I know, but I'm a sanitary napkin girl, not a tampon girl. So I pull that off and I clean up the pants and I wash everything out. And then I have a shower. And in the middle of the shower, because I have in this unit, we had a bath.
I'm going to mute my microphone. This is fucking gross.
No, it's nearly done. We have a bath shower, so it's not a shower on its own.
hell.
And I slip over in the shower because I'm so fucking drunk that I'm lucky that I don't kill myself by smacking my head on the porcelain, but I fall, fortunately, in probably some kind of recovery position. And I get up again and I've pulled the shower curtain down and I have to put that back up and I'm washing everything up and I'm like, okay, all right, okay, I'm nearly there. And I get out, I pick up all my accoutrement, otherwise known as my
clothing.
dirty, well, I've washed it all out and I've flushed the toilet and I think, I'm good. I get straight out, I put stuff in the wash. I'm lying on my bed and my housemate, God love her, Hayley, knocks on the door because unbeknownst to me, she's also pissed as a newt, having returned from work drinks. And she says, let's do something, but I've got to go to the bathroom. And I suddenly remember the sanitary napkins still left in the room. And I leap up from my bed and I race into the bathroom. And she's a little tiny dot of a thing. I'm 5'10" for our listeners. She would be 5'1" if she was an inch. I push her forcibly away from the bathroom door. And I scream. Close. I scream, I'm not finished.
Oh, God.
And I get into the bathroom and I grab the sanitary napkin and I'm like, look around. I'm like, okay. I think I actually am done now. And I calmly walk out like a complete psychopath and get rid of that and go back to my room. And I think, okay, I think I've made it. And then she walks in and goes, do you want to have a drink? And I think, yeah, sure.
Of course you do.
On the Monday, I get into work and I am mortified. I outed our director, right? Because after shitting myself, vomiting, all the rest of it, that was all tragic. And then I thought, oh my God, that's not the worst of it. And then I go to work and I fully anticipate him saying, you need to pack your shit up and you need to leave right now. And he comes out. And this is the moment where my complete feelings about him turned. He comes out of his glass office. He's very fancy. And he says, Caroline, can I see you, please? And I go into the office and I'm like
Next
sweating.
Tuesday.
I'm sweating. I'm like, oh, this is
it?
so bad. This is it. And he says, I just want to say no one in the whole time I've been at this place has acknowledged that I'm a homosexual, has acknowledged my life situation. And as embarrassing and funny as what you did on Friday was, like, fair play to you. Thank you. And I said, well, we all know it. It ain't a secret.
It did change things, though, didn't it?
And he seemed to relax, and he was so he it's like he loved me after that.
It did change things. I remember that.
So not what I expected. And he relaxed, and things got better. And I thought, I can't believe that I was a catalyst for change like that. But
I'll take it.
I was.
Right now, God, where was I? Oh, yes, about a teaspoon of black stuff. Like, he's been doing this since 1978. He knows more than me, but it just sounds like a load of shit.
It's like a heavy smoker's cough in the morning.
Yeah, but the reality is, like, if you've had a lot to drink or something and you chuck the night before, you still chuck bile, right?
Yeah.
You can still produce stuff. Yeah.
A teaspoon of black stuff is all you
enough.
throw up during an exorcism. Like, if that's the best they've got, they're not possessed by demons.
Not even trying.
Oh. Exactly. Right. So he also goes on to say, an invisible thing hits me. When I feel it leaving, or if I'm under attack, it grabs me around the hips like an electric current was hitting you, or a coldness that pierces you to the bones. I struggle to make sense of any of that.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, what?
What?
Clearly I'm not an exorcist, so I don't know. But
I tell you what, maybe he had arthritis in the hips like I have, but it doesn't feel like a coldness.
yeah, it grabs me around the hips like a dirty bloke on a nightclub dance floor. That's what it... So the father added that demonic possession could not be solely a mental symptom because it involved muscle movements which can't consciously be performed, and because exorcisms are only attempted after medical diagnosis and help has failed.
I had some muscle experience that couldn't be medically decided,
Couldn't be consciously be performed.
Couldn't be consciously performed. That's right. It was quite subconsciously performed.
But if you're that fucking drunk, well, it's not conscious anyway.
Correct.
When did old mate father become an expert on muscle movement?
Exactly. I mean, how many different conditions have spasms and...
God.
My dad's got Parkinson's. That alone, you'd be like, oh, you must be...
I get you study the Bible, but fuck off with your muscle expertism.
Maybe he doesn't have Parkinson's. Maybe he's possessed.
Correct. No one. I don't know that anyone's explored that. Maybe I'll point it out.
Strangely.
Funnily enough, we were doing a podcast the other day. It might be worth counting it out. I know we haven't entertained it. Perhaps it is worth a look. Then we get a second opinion.
Dad, have you ever been to Antwerp?
God.
Did we get... Oh, God.
Road trip.
Worst road trip ever.
Yeah. A post-mortem later found that pressure on Joan Vollmer's neck and fractured... I'm going to start that again too. A post-mortem later found that pressure on Joan Vollmer's neck had fractured her thyroid cartilage and caused her to have a heart attack.
Oh, yuck, yuck, yuck.
It's just the beauty of exorcism gone wrong where, we exercised so much, but the demon won. No, you just fucking murdered her.
What's exorcism gone right, anyway?
I guess if the head spins around 3 times and the demon leaves.
Well, I was thinking about that when you were talking about, I know, Swanee, I had to tell you this, but in The Exorcist, which you haven't seen, Linda Blair's head spins around.
I do know that. I've seen enough of the previews and whatever. I've never watched the movie and the green vomit and all that.
That's the muscle movements that can't consciously be performed.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Can't consciously or fathomably be performed, yes.
So, police charged Ralph Vollmer, Leanne Reichenbach, David Klingner, and Matthew Nuske with Joan Vollmer's manslaughter.
Why is it not murder? Because there was a group of
Because we didn't mean to kill her.
Because
we didn't have an intention to kill her.
Yeah. I'm almost okay with that. But now, strap yourselves in, because this could enrage some fury. A magistrate found there was insufficient evidence for them to stand trial.
Wrong.
But... the Victorian Director of Public Prosecutions overturned the decision.
Well done.
So, Leanne Reichenbach and David Klingner were found guilty of the manslaughter of Mrs. Vollmer and of falsely imprisoning her. So they're the two. So there was Ralph, who was the husband. Mm-hmm. There was Leanne and David, who were found guilty of manslaughter.
They were neighbours or something like that, yeah.
And Nuske, who was the... greenkeeper,
the gifted one who had the
powers.
Yes.
Yeah,
clearly.
So
everyone has a bad day at work occasionally. Just maybe he's off that day.
Yeah, that's right. He maybe had a day like Schmitty when she went out that night.
Yeah, maybe.
So Ralph Vollmer was convicted of false imprisonment and recklessly causing his wife injury.
He orchestrated the whole thing.
He fucking caused her more than that.
Yeah.
Matthew Nuske was found guilty of false imprisonment. Leanne Reichenbach was ordered to serve 4 months in prison. David Klingner was jailed for 3 months. And both Ralph Vollmer and Matthew Nuske walked free on wholly suspended sentences. The police officer in charge of the case, Detective Superintendent Paul Sheridan, said later it was the weirdest he'd ever investigated. He told the Herald Sun...
No shit, Sherlock.
Oh, no, like, what the fuck? He told the Herald Sun that the 4 accused believed they were doing the right thing by trying to exorcise demons. but they weren't innocent and they certainly weren't doing the right thing. He said all four were quite happy to talk about the bizarre, dangerous and painful things they did to Miss Vollmer and how they believed she would come back to life after they forced the demons from her body. That highlighted just how far out of whack with reality they were, Superintendent Sheridan said. Rolf Vollmer lived on for a short while at the house, then moved to Queensland with his new third wife.
Why wasn't he in jail?
Because he was suspended sentence.
And there we have it. Exorcism's cheaper than divorce.
Mm-hmm. Oh, God, thank God Jeremy's not listening to this.
So
he always says it's cheaper to keep her. And I'm always like, oh,
cheaper to exercise her.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
No, but so, I actually tried to Google what whether exorcism murders...
Exercise is better for you.
Whether exercise is less than murder. No, whether exorcism charges are less. And I couldn't find any statistics at all on it. It was really quite difficult. But
yeah, you shock me. Yeah.
But honestly, for two of them to be found guilty of manslaughter and get a 3-month and a 4-month sentence, and the other two to walk free on wholly suspended sentences, I find disgusting.
I just don't get it.
So the house was resold several years ago, but remains empty, and attempts to stop inquisitive people going inside it have failed. So when we talk about that, literally it's been sold twice. No one has moved into it. In Antwerp and surrounding areas, people go and visit it and break into the house for the scare factor. I guess it's like going to see a haunted house.
Yeah.
It's really odd. So today, Antwerp consists of a grain silo, community hall, and a few houses, but no shops or local hotel. And when I say today, this was in, I think, the late 2000s that it was written, so or early 2010s.
It's still a drive-through, basically.
Might be a thriving metropolis by now.
Unlikely.
I doubt it. Yeah.
Joan Vollmer's relatives denounced Ralph Vollmer and his religious cohorts, saying Joan had never been religious before she died at the hands of the extreme group. Mm-hmm. And that, my friends, is my story. Choose your crime and sentence accordingly.
I wasn't expecting it to end like that, I'll be honest. I feel...
How were you expecting it to end?
Well, I thought we were going to go to trial and... I just feel...
Well, we did go to trial, but no one got their comeuppance.
Why?
Their comeuppance.
The worst was 3 months.
I'm missing something.
Well, we all are.
I'm missing something. I feel quite daft because I don't really get it.
No one got their comeuppance.
But why?
Because they were religious and they had the best intentions.
That's fucked.
Fuck.
It is
fucking
hate. They took somebody's life.
That's really bad.
This is in Australia and Victoria.
I'm actually a bit speechless.
That is well bad. That is
well bad. Take the shame.
Oh, God.
Do you know what, though?
That's shocking.
It's a funny thing. We sit here and often talk about crimes from around the world and how strange things are.
The world. Oh.
There is no hiding from this. People are people, regardless of where in the world they are, and weird shit happens.
Mm.
And this, I'm shocked that this happened in our back door. But there you go. Well, not in our back door. It says,
backyard.
Darling. To quote Genie Little. It's awful. And to think they got off.
That's what I have the issue. I mean,
it's just murder.
People are, do some crazy shit all around the place. It happens everywhere, so there's no problem with that. But I would have thought that
There's no problem with that.
No problem with that. But I would have thought that our legal system would have been no match for them.
This is the
but
thing,
I'm wrong,
right?
Well, the weirdest thing was they said, there's nothing to see here. And then a prosecutor said, no, there absolutely is. And then still let them off.
Still nothing to see. But so I want to give some context to it. So we spoke about Sylvia Likens, who was the one who was just, bullied to death. And we couldn't continue with it, right?
Yeah.
This woman, based on the fact that she danced outside, used bad language, acted like a prostitute,
tick,
and behaved like
Pig
a
or a
pig or a
dog.
dog,
Was murdered.
Yeah.
you know, Schmitty, you
Don't know
just
what that
told
means,
us.
but
You
yeah,
just
tick,
told
tick,
us a
tick.
story that I reckon.
Yeah, well, anyway, you want me
could-
to cut it out, so
No.
let's not tantalise our listeners with that.
What I'm saying is
Yeah.
that I think when we all
I
drink
really
a lot,
think that's the wrong use of the word tantalise.
We've probably all acted like a pig or a dog at some
course.
Yeah, I
point.
think most of
I don't get that, but anyway.
what?
Acting like a pig or a dog.
Like,
I don't even know what it means.
No, neither do I really.
Neither do
And I
I.
suspect
So-
for some
Yeah.
religious zealot, it probably means not what we're thinking. It probably means
Well,
She's running around going oink, oink, oink.
possibly,
oink.
but so because of that, she has been deemed to
Murdered.
be
Murdered.
deemed to be possessed
correct.
and therefore murdered. And it's the step between her behaviour and linking that to demonic possession that then means that murder isn't murder; it's just an inconvenience, and you can have a couple of months in prison. Like,
What did Darren Hinch say when he recorded, when he sort of
shame.
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 That's what I want to know. What was his reaction?
And
Did
that's
he just go,
life.
this is... No.
Actually-
No.
Who makes these links and says, yeah, 3 to 4 months is enough?
I just don't even see the point in 3 to 4 months, frankly.
Oh, fuck.
I'm really angry. This is awful.
Well,
Can you
then,
tell
I want
this
you...
is me outraged.
Yeah, I know. I'm really
I'm-
angry.
I'm really angry.
You've got to watch those frown lines, though.
I'm
I
furious.
just want you to
Oh.
lose your shit and sentence accordingly.
Oh. I want them to be... I want the
Yeah.
same thing to happen to them.
Yeah,
And I
exactly.
never
Go
say
on,
that.
They all need to be.
I never
They all
say
need
that.
to be exercised.
Absolutely.
They all need to be
Just- There you
exercised.
go.
No,
I think you're
In
the
exactly the
best.
same way.
Maybe
Absolutely.
faux exorcism is something we could have in the Ravages of Clarky.
That is
As if there's
really
another
awful.
I don't even think it's a
exorcism.
faux. I mean, like, yeah, exactly. Like, let's call it for what it is, which is an actual exorcism.
No, I want to make
Every one of those people gets to be tied up and
Smacked.
staked out in the
Yeah.
sun. No, staked out in the sun.
in the 40-degree
Starved.
heat of Antwerp. But what
Yep.
the reason I want faux to be there is because the whole thing is fraudulent, and so I just want to make sure that everyone knows that exorcism is fraudulent.
Well,
That's why
I don't think you can say everyone knows that. I
want to make
everyone-
sure everyone does. In the Ravages of Clarky, it's got to be faux exorcism because
Oh, I see what you're saying.
yeah, it's not a real thing.
It's a punishment.
Correct.
Mm.
Yeah.
So
Which is
I'm
exactly what
happy to
she got.
stake them all out with some tights and, pop them in-
Russian slap them so that they fucking nearly become unconscious.
I want you going down to Melbourne on Monday and demanding to speak to somebody about this.
I'm going to ring Darren Hinch. Hang on a minute. Let me just... I have this thing.
And I want you to start off, whoever you speak to, I want it to start with, what the actual fuck? We
Fuck.
have just read this. Tell me this isn't true. And then you can explain to me how
Diabolical.
you're right.
Not
This is
acceptable.
not right.
Mm.
This poor woman. Oh,
Darren Hinch's Justice Party.
no. I doubt they'll make mention of this.
Let's just give that a little call live on air. Oh,
Yeah,
the
it's-
number you've called... Oh, hang on.
Your number is not connected.
Hang
Please
on.
dial again.
There's no justice
Please.
in that.
Please check the number and dial again.
Look, it's not
number
Jack.
you have called is not connected.
I
Please check the
nailed it.
number before calling again.
I totally nailed it.
That, my
Okay.
friends, is how to get justice.
Yeah.
Ring Darren Hinch's Justice Party, which is not connected.
Oh,
Goodness groceries.
Fuck me.
that's awful.
All right. Well, I'm happy to send her them all. Sorry, not her. She needs to be sent to that nice place in Trial by Wine, where she can live out her life.
Who, Joan?
Without her, the nice place without
The happy
Ralph.
world.
Oh, I
The
see.
happy place. She goes to the happy place where none of this happened, and she gets to live out her life. She has lovely people around her, her family, and all the rest of it. But those other
They
people,
are the same people.
all of them.
Probably. That's sort of part
No,
of the problem.
well, she doesn't know them anymore because she's got a sliding doors moment,
Oh.
right? She never met Ralph, and she gets to live somewhere where she gets to marry someone who's not an ass face, who doesn't see exorcism as cheaper than divorce, and she meets the love of her life, and she lives, Bridgerton like happy ever after. So that's her. everyone else in this story goes to Trial by Wine World, where they are, Clarky, I think we talked about at some point you wanted to banish people.
Yeah.
And there was this, there's quite a journey to get there, right? There's these fields of nothing, and you've got to walk. Well, in the fields of nothing, if you look carefully, there are people staked out, lying in 40-degree heat, or let's say 80-degree heat, with tied down by their tights, starved, on ant hills so that the ants can eat them as well, because, we're Australian. And
Are they
we all
surrounded by
believe-
blowflies and things?
And stuff.
They are coming.
May as well.
What's it called? They were gathering. Wasn't there a term you used when I
We're
was
gathering, yeah.
There was
Blowflies
a
and
gathering.
things were gathering.
They're gathering. They're just ready.
Circling
What's
the
next?
prey.
Ready for instruction. What happens now?
Well, the blowflies and things were gathering because that's the ominous, scary
Gathering.
thing. But they don't get to die. They just get to live in this sort of stasis of
Stasis. Great word.
torture where the blowflies and things, whatever the things are gathering.
Fucking things.
Inhabit
Ugh.
them.
Ugh.
Well, they're
Gross.
coming for them. They know they're coming for them. They don't
We've
get
got
to
your
dis-
number, Sandra.
They don't get to decide that those things are not going to get them. They are just in a permanent state of terror, like she was when she begged for her life. So that's my sentence. Done.
Yep. Yep, I'm very happy with all of that.
And
Smashing.
what do you think, Clarky?
Well, I've got a couple of sentences. I'm very happy with your sentences for the real criminals here, so I'm not going to try to go them any harder. I do want a sentence for the journalist who came up with the sentence. By Monday, February 1st, the body had swollen in the 40-degree heat, 104-degree Fahrenheit, was stinking and decomposing, and blowflies and things were gathering. Because that's just too fucking much.
This takes us back to almost the pilot episode that
Fuck,
we never
mate.
actually put live, but we talked about the crimes of journalism.
Oh.
Yeah. This
I don't remember that.
whole thing
Of course.
makes me want to. I feel like I'm being exercised according to Father Shanley because it makes me want to throw up about a teaspoon of black stuff in my own mouth. It's
Only.
gross, and so therefore, I think that journalist should be sentenced to all of us throwing up a teaspoon of black stuff into a cup and then drinking it. So they can drink our teaspoon each. Cause
Yeah, well, we all know what swallowing your own spew's like. But
fucking
yeah, go on.
someone else's. Fucking blowflies and things were gathering. Like,
Gathering.
it's just a crime. It's a crime.
It's a
That
gathering
went down
of,
like a teaspoon of sick.
Sick.
Cold
Latin
sick.
church.
A teaspoon of sick
Look,
makes
makes
the medicine go down. The medicine go down. And the other crime is just against the Victorian prosecution
Thank you.
system that thinks that 30 years ago, not even, it's okay to murder someone under the guise of fucking exorcism, which makes me feel fucking angry, because they're doing things like dancing outside, using bad language, acting like a prostitute, whatever the fuck that is, and behaving like a pig or a dog, which none of us can even fucking understand.
Oh my god.
But even if you were doing all of those things, like that doesn't mean exorcism's the answer.
Well, no, but in Antwerp, even if you are doing those things, just murder the fuck, pretend it's exorcism, and you'll get 3 to 4 months jail.
Yeah.
Ugh. So that whole system just needs a fucking
punch.
massive nut punch with an arm that has a dick attached to it.
So you get
Probably need you.
a turkey slap as well.
I'm not sure what added value the dick attached to the arm that nut punches you is, because you're like, once you get a nut punch, you get a nut punch. Do you think it's like got a roundhouse kick of the extra dick?
No,
It's
it's
a roundhouse dick kick.
Yeah, well, no, I was thinking more just the ridicularity of it, right? This
Ridicularity.
whole thing is a
Good
fucking
word.
circus.
Ridicularity.
So you
Great
need a
word.
dick on an arm to just make sure that everyone gets it.
Yes, I like that.
All right. Excellent work. Unbelievable story that I've
No,
never
me neither.
even had a hint of. So well
Thanks
done.
to Team Horsham for that one.
Thanks, Tim Horsham. That is your,
Yes, it
your
was.
gift and your shame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You take your shame.
Well done. Well done, and miss you already.
See you guys.
Au revoir.
Bye. Well
Au
done.
revoir.
Ciao.
All right.
Ciao, Bella.
Ciao, ciao. Thanks for listening to Trial by Wine. You can contact us at trialbywine@gmail.com. Please rate, review, and subscribe to Trial by Wine on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. If you'd like to support us, you can become a patron at www.patreon.com, Trial by Wine, or visit our website www.trialbywine.com to donate to us. Your support will help us cover many more cases and apply wacky sentences. We really appreciate you listening and hope you tell everyone about us. Our cover art is by John Christo and music is by Beauchamp from pixabay.com.